And Sean, you said the full moon is tomorrow night, is that right?
Yes, officially, but I'm sure if you looked out there tonight, you would not know, as you can see with our lovely shot from the harbor. The moon right there across, not as clear as you can see, but definitely pushing toward the full moon, so that means tides are going to be a little on the high side and very low side in the afternoon. Good tide pooling actually today and as well the next few days, because the weather is not going to be poor at all for that. Still very dry out there, and that's why we cool off so much at nightfall. When we get just a few hours into dark, things really drop. So look at the range in temperatures. That really shows you how cool it is. We should be a lot warmer at night, and that's because usually we trap in some of that heat with the extra moisture in the air, higher humidity, even a little bit of marine layer activity will help there. So a 30-degree range in beautiful Santa Maria, so really nice. This is the kind of weather where you really have to layer up because you start out so cool and then by the afternoon you get so warm. And even got an 80 in there today, 81 in Ojai. A lot of 70s out there, and even a few areas again pushing close to 80 or getting over the top of that 80-degree mark. Pismo though, a little on the cool side as you saw more of a sea breeze today, so that kept you just a little bit tad cooler than everybody else as you didn't get really much of that offshore wind like some areas did early this morning. 50s, a few 60s out there. Looks like maybe Gaviota showing just a little hint of a north wind. Not a whole lot right there. Ojai as well as you stay in those 60s. Winds might become a problem or at least a concern tomorrow night. Right now though, they're definitely not a problem. Look at the humidity values though. Where you get the onshore flow really pumped up. Marine layer probably not going to happen tonight. There is always that chance if you get more toward about 90% humidity. Then there's a chance you could see some low-lying fog, but boy, a lot of the coastline and our interior areas are still feeling the effects of just a really dry pattern. So looking across the United States, everything's connected. Weather connectivity is really, very, very important to look at on a wide scale to see where your climate is going to be behaving. And we're locked. We have storms rolling over the top of the West Coast, crashing into the middle of the country. They get all the energy. The upper portions of the West Coast, Washington and Oregon, they likewise get some of that energy, but for the most part, the entire West Coast is under this really strong high pressure ridge, so any low pressure systems that run at us end up running over the top of us, and then as high pressure chases low pressure, clear weather to chasing the stormy weather, you start getting that wind mechanism pushing in this direction, and that's exactly what we're expecting to see through next week. We might even get some wind advisories, and beyond that, we're not really seeing a big break in the pattern. Now, hopefully, by the middle of December, that will be something that we'll talk about. But right now, we are really locked on a La Nina dry pattern. Look at the arrows all pointing down. The moisture stays way to the north. By the time it gets even into Northern California, extreme Northern California, it dries out even there. So it means we're really too far to the south. You can see there, look at those little tail ends of frontal bands of energy. There's just nothing there once it gets into the West Coast as far as our neighborhood anyways. So going to be dry. And wind, we're going to watch this closely. These little greens and the little blues pop up. That's your overnight offshore flow. At certain points this week, we may see some stronger winds along the south coast and down in Ventura and Southern California. There's a little bit of model discrepancy if we'll see a full-blown Santa Ana by about midweek, but there's a good chance we'll get at least a moderate Santa Ana. So that means more northeasterly winds, and of course heightened fire concerns are going to pop up all week long. And there are your overnight lows into the morning, I should say, and then look what happens when we get to the afternoon. Just another snapshot of beautiful weather. This is why the rest of the world sometimes hates us this time of year, when you see 80s and 70s popping up and we're almost getting into winter. Temperatures on Tuesday likewise will go back into the 60s and 70s, maybe even a couple of 80s. So a mild, nice day, keeping an eye on the wind for the south coast tomorrow night. And that'll also be a concern for other areas, as we always want to keep an eye on wind when we haven't yet to get a significant amount of rain yet. It means that our heightened fire concerns are going to remain with us for a good foreseeable portion of the future. So let's hope we don't see any fires, because that means that fires would spread very, very rapidly. When temperatures are that warm and of course it's dry, you just don't need that wind to add in. Luckily, surf is going to start to pick up the next couple of days, and we could see some good swells over the next couple of weeks. Actually, it looks like word on the beach is that we're in for a good run. There your temperatures, and you'll notice not a whole lot of change, staying mild, mostly sunny. I think I say that at least 30 times in about 3 maps there, because there's not a whole lot to talk about as far as anything really a big shock to the system. Everybody's staying either mild to warm. Of course, the mornings will be cool, Tracy, so dress warm in the morning, but definitely be ready to take some of those layers off, because it's going to be a beautiful forecast all week.
All right, thank you for that. Coming up, Mike Clan is on his way in with all your pro football and UCSB basketball action. Your weekend news continues next on your local news channel live at 6.